Hello, everybody, and welcome to Edusations. I'm very excited to have a guest today that way back in the day was my PE teacher, Craig Shapiro. Craig, why don't you go ahead and...
Okay, well, hi, everybody. Phil, great to see you, man. Been a long
Yeah,
time, but good to see you. So, obviously, my name is Craig Shapiro. I've been a health and physical education teacher for about 29 years. Taught elementary for the first 5 years and some middle school stuff, and then was lucky to be able to move to a high school level where I was able to coach and still coach. And then, I meet Phil and, went back for my master's degree in educational leadership, got that done. And it's just, it's been a great ride and still loving what I do.
yeah. I thought it was so cool whenever I was on Twitter one day and I was looking at the Centennial School District feed and I was looking for different teachers that I might have that are on Twitter. And I saw Shapiro. I'm like, hey, that's awesome. And I think you're the only one from my education, at least, that I regularly communicate with, which is, it's been really fun to be able to reconnect through Twitter on that.
Oh, I always say that I wasn't even on Twitter until November of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I never even went on Twitter. I mean, I had an account, but I never used it. And the librarian at my school, she had lots of cool ideas. We brought the class, my health class, in one day, and she said, hey, why don't we use Twitter? And we just kind of gave it a try. And, for some kids it worked, others it didn't, but it was just like, you know what, this is a really cool place to connect with other people and get to kind of get yourself out there and learn a lot of new things. So that was kind of really, I guess, just how we connected.
Yeah.
And that and a lot of other people. So it's just like trying new things.
Mm-hmm. And being willing to try those new things, you made this transition really easy for me. Talking about Twitter in a health classroom, who would have thought about that? But
Yeah.
PE has changed a lot over time. So what are some big changes that you've noticed in physical education from, let's go ahead and go back to whenever you first started teaching to today in 2018?
Well, I don't necessarily know so much at the elementary school level when I first started, but at the high school level, it's kind of come full circle. So when I first started teaching, a lot of it was, you were doing fitness testing, push-ups and pull-ups and sit and read and all these other tests. And
right.
That was kind of in vogue at that point because you needed data. There was a focus on fitness. And then what happened is that kind of went away because some people thought, well, we don't want to put kids on the spot. It can make them feel awkward. Kid gets up on a pull-up bar, he can't do a pull-up. And, it makes them feel, sad or awkward to be in that spot. And, I'm not going to judge that. It just was what it was.
Right.
And then it got more into like lots of different games. And now it's actually come back around to like, we're very much in a fitness, area now.
Mm-hmm.
Because of obesity in our society and people being more educated and actually kids being much more fitness oriented.
Yeah.
If you're at the high school level now, there's a lot of kids that go to the gym. So going back 25, 30 years ago, most high school kids weren't going to a gym. Today they are. So that emphasis on meeting kids where they are and wanting them to connect to the real world, like do things that they're actually going to do, is big. So right now, when kids come into our gym, they are active immediately.
That's awesome.
Like there's no squads. It's just kids come in and there's some kind of warm up that we do. That's fitness based. Could be jumping rope. Could be just some push-ups or jogging or something simple. Mm-hmm. And then we do a fitness circuit where every other day, which is how often we meet the kids, we do fitness. Always. It is a core part of our curriculum. Kids record data every single class of what they've done. So if they did, let's say, for example, jumping rope on Monday, and they're doing it again on Wednesday, they're recording how many spins they did in a certain amount of time, or how many push-ups they did. So this as a teacher, it's so much is data driven. Like, right. How can we show if kids are improving?
Do you find that students, as they record this data, are they setting long-term goals for themselves too, or is it one of those things where they haven't processed that yet?
Well, some of the things is like by recording it every day, and this is something actually we just started this year. We've never done this.
Oh, okay.
This is the first year that we've done it, and it was something where we just said we have this longer class period, we don't want the kids to just play like a organized sport. We want them to do something where they can measure improvement. So there's nothing wrong with kids playing basketball or volleyball or those things.
Sure.
But how are you measuring whether they're getting better? Sure, you can see it. You can watch a kid improve. But this, if I have you in class and the first day you come in and you do 15 crunches and you're doing this every other day. Well, we're in class number 10. And instead of doing 15, you're doing 22. That data is not some made up number.
Right.
It's not something where you just say, hey, I think I'll come up with 22. That data is there. So kids can see like, wow, that's a 33%, like that's a huge increase.
Right, it's a big jump.
And and of course, not every kid has that same increase, but if you can show kids that what they're doing is benefiting them, they're getting stronger, more fit. We play music so that it's very motivational. And then you go back to your school board or your district or your parents and you say, wow, I started phys ed class and I was doing, 2 minutes of jumping rope and now I'm doing 4. And now I'm starting to see body changes, which are ultimately the goal.
Sure.
That's an incredible motivator for people. I mean, for anybody, not just kids, anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, why do people work out in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
They work out because they want to see change. Well, if you can get high school kids, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years of age to get involved and see change in a positive way, that's a huge accomplishment, not just for what you're doing, but for them, which is even more important. So we still do some of the sports,
Mm-hmm.
tennis and golf and other things, but fitness has kind of been a huge part of where we're going. And I think that's continuing, not just where we are, but all around the country. Because we're trying to promote. Think about what phys ed means. It's movement.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing to get kids to move in a way that's benefiting them?
Yeah.
And
we have a PE teacher at our school, and she always loves to tell the kids that gym is a place, gym is a man's name, gym is not a class.
Right. I don't know what somebody says to me, hey, because they call me Shaq.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Shaq, what are we doing in gym? I'm like, well, I don't know what you're doing in gym, but I know what I'm doing in physical education. And they're like, oh, sorry. I'm like, it's okay. Jim's a name. I mean, I just saw Jim the other day. He's doing good. But we're not doing gym. We're doing physical education. It's a small thing, Phil. You know that. But it's mindset.
Right.
Like, in any part of education, if you want people to take things seriously, then you have to take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You have to kind of make that push to say, hey, we're making change. Like, we were kind of worried that, wow, this is a big push. Like, we're pushing fitness. What are these kids going to do? And I can say to you that the vast majority of kids are really motivated.
That's awesome.
Not every kid,
mm-hmm.
but that's in any subject. You could be the most inspiring, positive, motivational teacher in the world, and there might be a kid who just doesn't dig it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. You just do your best to get them involved and keep promoting what you're doing and mention how it's going to change their life, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and you have to have the right relationships for that too. So how do you build these relationships with your kids so that they do get this, so they hopefully get this positive look on fitness instead of one that it's just like, oh, I got to go run.
That's right. Well, I mean, that's, you see the stuff we do on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we could talk for hours and just go round and round, but for the sake of just simplicity, I personally believe, not just in phys ed or in health, but in any content area, relationships are number one across the board. I talk to many teachers, have done PD with teachers. If you don't build connections first, before anything else, the content's not going to be as effective. Kids aren't going to be as motivated. They're not going to see that you feel vested in what you're doing. And yeah, you might still get a lot of kids involved because maybe they're just motivated intrinsically, but the relationships have to start in the beginning. Like whether it's in phys ed, like when we come into the gym to start class in PE, kids know, like, high fives. How's your day going? You ready to rock and roll? Let's go. It's all positive motivation and, knowing kids' names. If you got 100 kids jogging and you say, hey, come on. Well, how about if I say, hey, Kim, come on, Phil, let's go, man. You're doing great. Let's keep it up. I've immediately made a facial and vocal recognition of who you are, and that I'm not just looking at you and say, hey, come on. I'm saying, hey, Phil, let's go, man.
Yeah.
Let's do this. You can do this.
You've shown that I matter whenever you do that. And I think that's huge. Craig, there's a story from whenever I did track in 8th grade, and to people that know me doing track is probably pretty surprising. But honestly, it's a story that has stuck with me for a long time. And I've told people down here, especially whenever I said, hey, I'm interviewing my former PE teacher tonight about it, or up in the future about it. And it goes back to in 8th grade. Whenever I did track, we were running an 800 to get to the very end and to kind of close down shop for the day. And as per usual, I was somewhere near the end. And with the last, I think 200 meters left, you were kind of waving everybody and saying, oh, guys, don't worry about it. You don't have to finish it. Come on in so we have our team meeting. And I remember saying, no, I'm going to finish it. And I sprinted the last 200 meters. And I thought you were going to be mad, but instead you had the entire track team get up and give me an applause as I was running in as the big man, as the shot put thrower on the team, give me applause. And that stuck with me. It made me believe that I mattered, that I was a part of something. And it made me feel much more connected to a sport that I did not expect to connect with like I did that year. So thank you for that.
And I remember, I know you might not believe this, but I remember you in your Klinger shirt. I remember blonde hair, running around the track, big kid, and again, universal across any content area, any grade. Make kids feel welcome, that they're cared for. Mm-hmm. I always joke about this. People talk about educational theory and pedagogy, right? And I just laugh. I'm like, okay, here you go. Right? Think about Maslow. To me, that is number one.
Yep.
Kids have to feel welcome and safe and secure and cared for. If they don't have all those things, you're barking up the wrong tree. Right. Get them. I mean, your story is so powerful because you're talking about. I hope people who see this just kind of in their mind close their eyes and say, "Oh, Phil's running around the track. There's 80 kids standing and cheering for him."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't get some powerful emotions out of that, that's pretty scary, because that is what education is.
Yeah,
it is about inspiring kids to be better than what they believe they can be, and anything. It's not just doing push-ups or learning, the Civil War, or studying Romeo and Juliet, or doing the chemical of the periodic table. It's anything. Do you believe that kids can be better each day? And more importantly, do they believe it? Because if they believe it, you're going to win a lot of kids over.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that. It's awesome. And I love how positive you are, Craig. And it's been something that's been really refreshing as I've engaged in Twitter, and as you and I have kind of rekindled our former relationship. And so, one of the ways that you've also been trying to promote positivity is through your Twitter chat, hashtag Teachpos. What was your inspiration behind finding it? Go ahead and give it a shameless plug and, give us the whole works about it.
I don't necessarily, obviously I appreciate you bringing that up. And I think what it was for me is when I first got on Twitter, I didn't really know anybody. Mm-hmm. I actually really didn't know anybody, maybe one or two people.
Yeah.
And then I just started to see the chats that were going on. And I was like, wow, this stuff is great. It's so positive. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And, this is not a plug on myself. It's just, honestly, if I had my whole school sitting here and they said, pick a word to describe chat, it would be positive.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That would be the word.
Knowing many of your colleagues, I can confirm that is true.
It would be positive. It would either be positive, happy, inspiring, something. But when I was on Twitter, I was like, I was on Wallet Chat, yours, which I thought was awesome. You know, and I'm like, wow, this is great what Phil's doing here. And then I'm seeing like other chats of these people. I'm like, this is great. And I said, you know what? I'm starting to get some followers. I'm starting to connect with people. There's not a lot of stuff going on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I can't do this, and I'll tie this into something else very quick. It's all about planning. Like when I started to come up with this, I said, well, you know what? I can't do this, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday night when there's 5 other chats going, because nobody knows me. Like they're not going to go on my chat if there's a chat that already has hundreds of followers.
Sure.
You know, they're not. So I said, you know what? Sunday night, it's the end of the day. It's not super late.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great way to get the week started.
Yeah.
And so I was like, Teachpos, you know, oh, got it. Every single chat is going to be positive. There's never going to be a question that is, you know, a negative connotation. It's never going to say, you know, oh, this kid was bad in class. What did you do? No, it's like, how do you motivate kids? What do you do in class to inspire others? How do you work with your colleagues to make them see the benefits of education? Every single thing. And the moderators, like we've had, oh my God, I've had more moderators come on and moderate the chat than I ever thought possible. Like initially, I didn't think anybody would do it. And now I haven't moderated my own chat in a month. I haven't even done it this week. I'm not doing it again. Somebody else is doing it. And I kind of looked at it like, if you want to make people connect, get them involved.
Mm-hmm.
Like give them an avenue to see the benefit of what you're trying to do and promote them. Say, hey, you know what? Phil's moderating the chat this week. He is awesome. He is so positive. He inspires others. He's going to do a great job. Well, not only is that true, it also gets others to see, oh, you know what? I know Phil. I am going to check out his chat. And that chat happens to be the chat that I'm running. So it has all these, I call it the rainbow effect.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this one color, blue, and that's my color. Oh, but Phil comes on, his color's purple. He gets a person on who loves it, and their color's red. And before you know it, this rainbow effect happens, and you have all these people commenting about positive things that they didn't even think about before they went on the chat in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been amazing. I mean, I just love it. I love Twitter, just connecting with people and throwing out something positive. Maybe not every day, but most days, something that is about small. Hey, what are you doing today to make your life better in school? And, you know, hashtag Teachpos. Oh, what did you do today that a kid walked out of your class and said, oh man, I love Mr. Strunk's lesson today. It was awesome. What are you doing? And that stuff, when people see it, it inspires them.
Yeah.
Right away. So it's been, and honestly, you have been inspirational in that, because I see what your chat does, how it is just so well organized. I love how you send out the questions ahead of time. It's just a very, very great way to connect. And lastly, there's no risk. Like that's something that hopefully if people see this, they'll kind of, there's not a lot of educators all the time on Twitter. Like in my district, there's not a lot of people on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wonder why. I mean, I know the reason, because people are afraid of like, you know, what people are going to say. To me, that's like, honestly, that's silly. Like I post the things every day. Mm-hmm. Nobody could say, wow, look what Craig posted. It's negative. Well, it's not. It's positive. Like we should be promoting positivity. Get on, connect with people, inspire them to be better, and you make that connection.
Yeah. So do you have any like big time, long-term goals for this chat or this idea of Teachpos? Any book deals, movies?
You know, I'm writing a book.
Mm-hmm.
that's been like a long-term goal of mine to get my book finished, get that out there, connect that on with Twitter and other avenues. And again, it's all about promoting what we do, and not necessarily monetarily, more along the lines of, if you have an idea and it resonates with people, then that idea resonates with other people. So when you started your chat, did you have as many followers as you have now?
Right.
Of course not.
Right.
No way. It's grown
Truth.
a lot. And it allows you and hopefully me to branch out and to get others to see the incredible power we have in education, which is huge, by the way. Touching thousands of kids' lives every year, huge thing that people don't always talk about.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome. So again, if people want to get out to your chat, what time can they get to Teachpos?
So it's 7:30 p.m. Sunday night Eastern time. I always laugh about it because I hate to say this. I always get confused with the time zones.
Every time, every single time.
So I used to do 7:30 Eastern time, 6:30 Central time. And I was like, look, I'm doing 7:30 Eastern time.
Yep.
Because before you know it, you put a certain time and it's not the right time. And then, I went on, but it wasn't it. So it's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday night. I moderate it. I have a lot of other people who moderate it with me. So it's just it's a great way to connect.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, hey, Craig, so we've talked about PE and the way that it's changed a little bit. We talked about building relationships, and we also spent some time talking about Teachpos. We're actually already to the point where we're ready for our high fives.
Okay.
5 questions, totally unrelated to education. Are you ready for them?
Yes.
Okay. First one, do walnuts belong in brownies?
No.
Isn't that the truth? I don't understand
No.
how people do that. Number 2, fireworks or parades?
Oh, fireworks.
I think I'm inclined that way too. Skim, 1%, 2%, or whole milk?
Oh, you're in my field, man. Well, I know you want skim if you're trying to lose weight, whole milk for healthiness.
Okay. Yeah, I've always preferred the taste of skim milk. I try whole milk and 1% and 2%, but I think I know people always say there's something wrong.
It's strong. It's really fat heavy.
Skim is or whole is?
Whole is.
Yeah, no. I like skim milk, not whole milk.
Yeah, skim is. I mean, skim is obviously much lower calories, no fat.
Mm-hmm. 4, how do you take your coffee/tea?
Well, I don't drink coffee.
Me neither.
And I like my tea with some lemon.
Okay. And 5, what is your ideal temperature outside?
65 degrees and cloudy.
Ooh, I like it. I think I'm somewhere near the 50s, so I'm hoping eventually fall comes to Virginia. It's been 80 degrees the last 3 days here in October, or October, September.
It's either been rainy or hot.
Yeah.
But I'm still trying to figure out what's up with our weather pattern. Rain or 90 degrees. Where is it going to be 65 degrees and cool and a slight breeze? I don't get it. It's killing me.
I don't follow it either. Well, hey, Craig, it's been great having you on. Any final words of wisdom before we sign off?
Okay, well, just to you, Phil, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be part of your video. I think what you're doing is really inspiring. It's connecting with others. And to all the other educators, I'm going to leave a quote. So here is my quote for anybody who happens to see this. Every day is the chance to make some child's life just a little bit better. So make sure you're making it better.
That's definitely something worth reflecting on. Thanks for that, Craig. Hey, if you're watching this show right now and you're thinking, wow, I'd love to join Craig and his message, you can find his Twitter handle below in the description. Don't forget about #Teachpos, Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. If you like what you saw today, I hope you'll consider subscribing to Edusations. And if you or a friend are interested in being on Edusations, they can very easily sign up by going to philstrunk.com/contact. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.